Welcome aboard for Virtual Collage Jam for February 28th, 2022. Not far now till the 3-year anniversary of COVID mania. So, and I was just looking at myself and I failed to shave. Is it 2 year? Okay, see, yeah. I have no idea. And I think that's par for the course, isn't it, guys?
It is.
I'm just looking at myself and thinking, wow, I forgot to shave. I didn't comb my hair nicely. I've definitely got the COVID vibe going on. So even though we are pressing on that front. So welcome aboard. And for those of you, if you're joining us for the first time, Virtual Collage Jam was started at the beginning of just after COVID to create free online collaging community. And
creative community more broadly.
Yeah, exactly. Well. And that second voice you're hearing is
your charming co-host, Kim Lee Ko.
Exactly. So she's as usual. She will be monitoring your chat and passing along stuff that you chat to me so I can respond. And we'll be conversing. We'll be talking about what we're doing today. And it's just a great way to hang out and be creative and have some fun. So this week we are doing, there's always an optional prompt for those of you who are new, which I post in the Facebook group. And we have a private Facebook group, and I also have an email list. So if you'd like to join the email list and get advanced notifications, you can go to calhoney.ca, go to Virtual Collage Jam page, and sign up, and then you'll get advance notice. But you can always just play along, and you can always, the prompts are always optional. Like if the prompt doesn't rock your world, just ignore it and do what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
I like to work with prompts because it gives me a starting place. It's kind of like the little grid of sand that I can wrap a pearl around, and sometimes it's not a pearl; it's a piece of volcanic rock, and sometimes it's a pearl and sometimes it's somewhere in between, right? But so our prompt, our bit of grit to wrap a possible pearl around this time is the idea of looking at a collage by an artist you admire and doing a response to it. And so today, it just says in my little thumbnail for YouTube, I haven't even looked. I'm going to go through one of my favorite artists, collage artist, Kurt Schwitter's. I have a nice big book of his work. And I'm just going to look and see what tickles my fancy and do a response to it. In my teaching, I often have, it's a frequent thing that we do in my classes, is an artistic response. And an artistic response isn't necessarally copying it, right? It can be lifting certain aspects, or
in fact, it's not copying.
It's better. It's better.
Not necessarily. It's
not
copying. It's a response.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes that's where we go first, and that's sort of more like an homage. Like you really like this piece, so you sort of take it on to sort of see how you'll do it differently because you're a different artist, but to sort of break it down and understand it better. But it's even better if it's a response. So like the artist is saying certain things with their piece, and then you sort of hear that, quote unquote, right, and respond to it. So I have
expanding into your own directions a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I have an example that I did from one of my previous classes that I just thought it was top of mind because I was scanning some collages. And this is a perfect example. Well, maybe it's not a perfect example because there's no such thing, but this is a good example. So this is a collage by an artist I really admire named Andrea D'Aquino. And she's a New York-based illustrator who uses a lot of collage in her work. And this is about women in non-traditional employment roles. So we've got this woman with her welder's helmet on, and I love, like, if you take a look, it's got a whole bunch of these sort of fun, hot colored shards coming up from behind her, and she's got like some sort of a torch with things blowing out of it as well. And so I thought, I'm going to do an artistic response to this. So I noticed she's got warm colors. And so I thought, okay, I'll do mine in cool colors. She's got a woman in non-traditional role, so I'll do a guy in non-traditional role. And I thought it'd be kind of like quilt making or just general needlework or whatever. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. And so you can see how they're obviously related. There are compositional similarities with the person at the bottom and the stuff relating to what they're doing in front of their face and also above. But you can see it's not the same piece, but you can see the dialogue. So that said, I don't know what kind of response I'm going to do to Kurt, but I'm going to thumb through. I'm going to flip the camera to the overhead so that you can see what I'm flipping through and what I'm working on my desk here. And while I do that, my excellent host, Kim Lee Ko, will catch me up on who's here. And so I can say hi and what you're going to be cooking up. So one moment while I switch us to the overhead.
Okay, one moment, please.
No problem. I need a clip. There's a clip. Good to have a clip when you need it. All right. I seem to have bumped my camera, so that's not good. Here we go. There we go. This out of the way. All right. So I think what I'm actually going to do first before I get to looking through Kurt's book is I'm going to...
Okay.
I have a certain familiarity with his work because he's one of my favorites. And so I'm just going to go through sort of some of my materials and grab a bunch of things that I think might be potentials. And while I'm doing that, Kim, catch me up.
Well,
Catch us
Val
up.
is here.
Hey, Val.
Rebecca is here.
Hey, Rebecca.
Karen is here.
Yay.
Jane, who also wishes you a happy birthday a day
thank
late.
you. Thank you.
Donna's here.
Hey, Donna. Nice to have you along. And which we know a few Karens. Which Karen is it?
Did you?
Oh, hey, Karen. Excellent. Excellent.
Philippa's here, and she's just going to hang out today because she had a busy morning.
Yes, good to have a little relaxation time. Grab a cup of your favorite and a snack, and just hang out and chitter chat, watch.
And Cherie is here.
Hey, Cherie.
And she's full of. I just can feel your vim and vigor through your chat, Cherie.
That is our Cherie, isn't it?
Hi guys, had fun with this challenge. Expanded my knowledge of other collagists and expanded my practice into 3D work.
Wow.
Are you going to need deeper shadow boxes, Cherie, for your?
Oh, if you're working with 3-dimensional stuff and putting it in shadow boxes, you're going to have to fix it, Cherie. That's going to be like a major problem, isn't it? You can't just sort of sandwich it.
Or commit to slots in certain places to
exactly.
interlock things.
I guess if you had little those cubby holes, that would be loose, but in a certain place, right?
So I asked everyone here, once you were no longer delivering that meaty material you were earlier, to share with us what they're up to and if they're doing the challenge or the prompt, what artists they're responding to.
Oh, so, awesome. Yeah.
So Val has responded with Ekua Homes or Equa Homes, EKUA Homes.
Oh.
Not someone we know.
No, that's
so
awesome.
That's great. Can't wait to discover more about them.
There's so many great collage artists out there. And a bunch of them are listening and watching. So, but I'm always my ears peeled. If that's not really, that's a mixed metaphor if ever there was one. But for new artists, so Kim, could you jot that name down?
I will. It'll be preserved in our chat,
in the chat
too.
Yes. Okay. Just ignore me.
I'll open up a new tab.
And I bet you there are some other interesting artists. And Cherie, are you gonna be? I know some of you guys like to get a head start, so you've already done your first 5 versions, first 5 collages on the prompt. So
why don't I give a little biographical information on?
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
Ekua Homes. She is an American mixed media artist, children's book illustrator, and arts organization professional. Holmes's primary method of art making is mixed media collage by layering newspaper, photos, fabric, and other materials to create colorful compositions. She was born in 1955. If this is a recent photo, she looks good. I'm facing a birthday too, and I'm just thinking, boy, I wish I looked that good now. I'm not as old as her. She's in the Boston area.
Cool.
And this is the last day of Black History Month.
Ah, yes, that's right.
And she is a Black American artist, so I think that's a particularly nice.
Yeah, if I had my
you would have picked
Romare Bearden or
exactly.
Yeah,
so next year,
so
at least next year, there's a chance to redo.
Yes, exactly.
Things like that. There seem to be quite a few videos on her and articles.
Great.
So it's someone you can definitely learn more about easily.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's really great. And Lakoff has arrived.
And yay.
She's hi. Just walked into the mixed metaphors. Love the prompt for today. How inspiring.
Oh, good. Let us know in the comments which artist if you've got one in mind that you're going to respond to.
Val says that she likes Ekua's use of patterns in her collages. Yeah, that's such a wonderful way to play with kind of flat graphic material is by laying areas of pattern against other areas of pattern, especially good shapes. Cherie writes her first response was to Cal Honey.
Uh-oh. Well, I
bet you didn't expect that.
I did not. I'd be lying if I said I was expecting it. But it will be interesting because as you know, those of you guys who got the email, I invited you to, once you've done your collage, to post both the collage you're responding to and your collage response, both of them in the Facebook group, so we can see the sort of call and answer of it.
Yeah, because that's since that's really what it's about. It's important to have that,
to know sort of where the
source.
Yeah, exactly.
The inspiration. She continues and this explains why she went into 3D. She responded to Joseph Cornell's assemblage work. I posted my response. Had a floating frame that I could open an internal closed layer. Well, there you go.
Trixie.
Jane writes, not sure if Chagall ever did collages, but I have a book of his and I find his work intriguing. So I coupled with a stencil I did in Cal's creative stencil class.
Oh, cool.
Is that one that just started?
It was a two morning workshop.
Oh, okay, right. Just finished on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was too short, right, Jane? I mean, we were just getting going.
Stencils are such a great.
And that is the nature also of workshops. They're sort of like they just whet your appetite and then they're over. But at least it gets you underway and thinking. Hopefully, I definitely felt like a bunch of people were ready. Like it started to cook and were ready to keep going. So, yeah.
We should do more of that because back in 2017 at the what was that show called? It
was called Crossbreeds at Art Square Cafe across from the AGM.
It was downstairs from the Art Square Cafe, and that had a separate name, but I can't remember it now.
Art Hub or something like that.
Something like that.
Art Square Hub or something.
It was a big group show that Mira Martinez was organizing, and she invited us to be featured guest artists in one area, and the group show was in another. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is because I have to rebuild my memory. We had kind of a unique workshop there. Well, Cal, you did a collage workshop probably, right?
Yeah, I think we do them on the same day, or was it like a morning and afternoon? Or
No,
did we
because
do
I
fif-
was super sick. There's no way I
Right.
could have hung out for another
no,
workshop.
yeah, it was
Maybe the
workshops.
next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super sick. Pre-COVID though, so nobody died. Sorry, dark humor. It was making your own stencils and roller painting them.
right.
And
Using
I love doing that, and it was a very well attended. The place was packed, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I have to do more of that. Anne says she's going to use Matisse as her starting point for she doesn't know what yet.
excellent. Yeah, Matisse is a pretty great place to start.
Yeah, we have a replica of his jazz book that's I bought years and years ago.
I think
and I love it.
Probably one of my very first, I mean, apart from like really like huge artists, one of the first artists I really had any awareness of, and it was the paper cutouts because they were so designy.
Yeah.
In my design
Okay, you
career.
know Matisse is huge, right?
I do know he's huge. Yeah. I meant like for someone who didn't really.
Wasn't really an art guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you were a design guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Plus, it was messy.
Well,
His collages were all irregular, so
Yes,
that was
yeah.
quite a stretch for Kal at
Yeah.
the time.
But they were super simple too. So
Yeah.
that had and bold
and a great design sense.
Yeah. So that was good lessons there.
Yeah. Because we all learn and grow, right?
Lordy.
Rebecca says, don't know what I'm doing yet. Going to see if I get inspired by something or might continue on a painting I'm working on.
Right. Totally cool.
Ann Wills is here.
Hey, Ann. Yay. How are things up there in Collingwood? Have you still got piles of snow? I mean, we still have pretty big piles of snow.
Yeah, it was just snowing yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it didn't accumulate much, but it was coming down.
Yeah, so. It was replenishing.
Yep, yeah.
Bits of evaporation.
It was a top up.
That's right. She says, long time no see. Watching today to get my mind thinking about collage for class starting this Thursday.
Right. Yeah, excellent. Warm up.
That's a great idea. Yeah. And Jane says, right, Kal, just do another stencil class. Yay. Wow. I just had a big wave of fatigue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, you were up late last night, right?
I was up very late working on a wood burning drawing. And yesterday was also, I was part of a mini concert.
Oh, right.
With my singing class,
yeah.
Or, other singing students of my teacher. And so that was quite taxing. The come down from the adrenaline rush of that was pretty substantial.
It was pretty marked.
Yeah.
What I should do is look for, I'm just going to be back on screen in a minute. Just going to look for some more crafty type colored paper because I know that's I should probably have something from this book. Sort of diagrammy.
So let me update.
Yeah.
Ruth says, me too. I hope I am more inspired on Thursday than I am right now. So just so this is a good time to say, when you're not feeling inspired, do something, make something.
Yeah. Get the hands working and the mind will follow.
Mind will follow. Yeah.
So many people, and I fall into the trap over and over again, and I have to keep reminding myself that you don't have to have a plan to start.
You don't have to feel it to start.
And you don't. Yeah, I mean, lots of people.
That's what people are talking about when they say, "I hope I'm more inspired." Or,
You can actually manufacture inspiration by
9 times out of 10 anyway.
Yeah.
Just by doing.
Just getting, like, that's what I'm doing right now, guys. I'm looking through without really much of an idea of anything, and just like cutting out some stuff, piling it up on off camera, sorry, as possibles.
Having fun and interesting sources that stimulate your imagination, that nourish your imagination, is really important. Not just looking at that blank piece of paper and having maybe 3 things in front of you and saying, "I don't feel it."
Yeah, that I have to make something out of these 2
you
things.
Just may need to flip through a whole bunch of stuff that gives you joy or sparks your curiosity. And that'll get you started.
And I've got 2 things to do that. I've got my collage materials, which you've watched me go through, and I've got a little pile over there now. And now I'm going to look through Kurt's book. As you can see, I've got tons of teaching examples flagged, but I'm going to ignore those because
it's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard.
There's so many.
Yeah, exactly. But I have some pieces that I absolutely, in fact, now I want to flag possible ones.
Want me to get you I'll get you a Post-it pad.
A different color than orange or yellow if possible.
I know, there's a pink one.
Oh, perfect. That's great. Because I know I have, so many favorites in his work. And there are certain ones that, thank you, that I go back to and use as teaching examples, but it'd be nice to find something that was
a little fresher for you.
Yeah, exactly. Fresher for me. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I just want to mention that Ann Wills is not in Collingwood. It's 79 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny in Florida.
I'm envious. I'm envious.
Although the place we've been pining for lately is Iceland, which is hardly that. So it's rarely sunny. I don't know if it's ever reached 79 degrees Fahrenheit
probably
there.
If it does, we're in even more trouble.
I think 69 degrees, they'd all be walking around in bikinis.
Bathing suits, yeah.
Ruth says, yeah, I am playing with something. I was at the first of 12 weekend-long intense yoga teacher-instructor courses Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Using the other half of my brain, so I need this. Fantastic.
Yeah. And probably the body needs a little rest now.
Yeah, probably.
Although mine too, right? Because you're
I mean it's very
holistic.
Focused.
So, and focused. Yeah, when you're learning stuff. So this is work that I'm not familiar with him. I mean, I flipped past it, but it's sort of not the quintessential work. It's more graphic work.
Yeah, interesting. Is that actually collage, or is that print, like serigraphs?
I think it's print. You'd have to go to the back of the book, unfortunately, to find out materials. But it definitely looks printed versus collage. So it won't be what I'm responding to today for that reason. But
that's like that. I was just asked by the administrator at Redhead Gallery if I want labels for my show. Labels somewhat near to the artworks, although some of the artworks will be installed in a way that it'll be on a wall that's somewhere around where the work will be.
Yeah.
Or do I want to not have labels, and that in which case everyone would have to refer to the
sort of master list.
Kind of lists of artworks and numbers, I guess. I guess I could just have numbers posted. But I always find it really annoying when there isn't a label, because I like to...
When you're looking at something, it's nice to be able to just glance to the side and get the information you're wondering about.
Yeah. On the plus side, there's a more minimalist look without labels.
Yeah.
But the only real plus for me is that people can tend to look at the label before they look at the work.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, sort of what am I looking at?
Yeah,
it's called this,
just
and
looking
it's this
at
size, and it's made out of that, and it's like, okay, you can just look at the artwork first, and then,
Anyway, that just, I thought that the book thing of having to go to the back was analogous to that.
Totally.
Looking at the master list at a show.
So many lovely works.
Mm-hmm.
Something I love about some of his pieces are the way he uses like one strong color
Yeah.
in a bunch of, and also I was just thinking a bunch of amber colors, but of course some of them have aged significantly. So depending on when they were documented,
They would have been a paler yellow orange then.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also interesting because of the aging, maybe not, how that wonderful blue on the work on your left matches by value the red orange to the left of it.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
So it's just this massive intensity complementary play. Oh, I'm sorry that the stirring of my mug probably is quite vivid sounding.
Clackety, clackety, clackety. Yeah. I'm really enjoying this piece that I'm not sure I had that much awareness of before, but I really like it because it's
too bad they made it so small.
Yeah, like
why not give it a?
It could have been bigger.
Page?
It's probably because it was a small work, so they're trying to get that across. But frankly, it could have been double that size.
Yeah.
Maybe that's actual size, for instance. A lot of his work uses areas of text and snippets of images and sometimes three-dimensional stuff. So this is quite quintessential Kurt Schwitters that I'm showing here right now.
So you often have like tickets and things.
Yeah, exactly. And this one's a little different. And there's also, I think I'm going to play off of that in some interesting way. Well, I say interesting. I hope in some way. Let's leave it at that because we'll see whether it becomes interesting.
Do you want me to get the book stand?
That might be a bad idea.
So it takes up less.
Yeah, a book stand would be useful. I tell you, having an assistant could catch on. Thank you. Off camera there.
So for Cal's birthday, I sang him a song at the concert.
You did indeed. What song was it, Kim?
It was Yellow by Coldplay.
The book stand's awesome in many respects, but in one respect it's not so good in that you can't sort of see. So at least for the short term, I'm going to put it within visual range so that you can see what I'm responding to.
I'm just thinking that you've got a lot of materials.
I
there.
Do.
You could always show the thing again.
Okay. I always have second thoughts and doubts and wonderings, and Kim is very definite, and that can be very beneficial for me, I have to tell you, because I will show her something and I'll say, well, I'm thinking, what do you think? And I don't know, and she's like, yeah, it's great, or no, it needs work, or or when back when we used to go out for dinner, she'd be like, there's no perfect choice, just pick something.
Oh my God, he used to spend so long looking at menus as though it was the last meal he was ever going to order, and he had to get the order just right.
Well, I did grow up. We ate at home a lot, and so it was a rare treat to be able to. You mean, in just this moment, I could pick that or that or that instead of just eating what's put in front of me.
Yeah.
So there was a sort of preciousness to it, you know.
It didn't work once you were an adult, though.
And I still feel that way. So because we we eat at home a lot, right? So, yeah. So. All right.
Ruth says there is so much to learn. LOL. Yeah, there is indeed. There's still. I mean, it never ends, Ruth. I took a workshop on making and editing videos on your phone just a couple of weeks ago.
Kim is my favorite 50-something teenager.
Yeah.
Because she is as agile as a teenager and hungry for learning new things. And
I don't know, I feel a little tired about it these days.
Well, but understandably. But you are admirable in terms of how much you
I just finished a creative writing course too.
Creative writing, singing.
I mean, I needed to make room for, making the work for the shows. But I took the writing one because writing is, well, you do a lot of writing for your work too, for your artwork. So even though we're visual artists, and I don't mean our professional documents, of course, we have to do a lot of writing for those things, for applications and
yeah, but
so on.
what
But
you're referring to is
process.
There's that part of our thinking, and it becomes part of our work a lot of the time. Is
writing.
Yeah. So that and I conjectured at some point that to myself or to my class or something that it might be because I was a graphic designer and I was very used to thinking in terms of both image and text.
Yeah. Well, and you should have gone into advertising because you were so good at coming up with headlines and copy, and we both did copywriting as graphic designers as well, and editing the work of copywriters. So yeah, writing's always been part of us.
It finds its way into our practice. Is what I'm trying to say. So interesting. I thought I would start with this piece. This is a lovely piece, right?
Yeah, it is.
And the Schwitter's piece has lots of strips, and so I thought I'd start with this. And then I looked at the white page, and I thought I want to put something down before I get to it. So I got the glue on it, but I thought, nope, I need a base first. So I'm going to use some telephone book for base.
Right.
Just,
active ground.
Activated ground, exactly.
How often do you and I use that term?
Our students would agree incessantly.
Yeah. So Ruth and Jane have both suggested that urged me to sing it now, which I won't put you through, no. But
when she does sing, she practices and warms up significantly.
Yeah.
Like she sang 2 songs, right?
Yeah.
And did probably about 4, 5, 10 times that amount of singing or warming up before you sang them.
Oh yeah, like tons of vocal exercises, then a break, then more vocal exercises, then a break, singing the songs, a break, singing the songs again, break, vocal exercise. Because one of the things is taking up singing later in life. I'm not ancient or anything, but I'm not 20 or 30 something either, and my vocal cords have not been singing all these years. I sing in the car sometimes or whatever, but not. It's quite athletic. It's and I don't have the agility, and warm-ups take longer. I remember seeing an interview with Anne Murray when she was in her probably mid-50s, and she remarked on how her voice was changing. And I think at that time she had just come out with a new album of kind of torch songs, like very different kind of songs than she typically sang in her career. And she talked about how she was finding new things in her voice, but it was slower to warm up, slower to get going. It had new abilities and new non-abilities, inabilities, I guess.
I think any sort of physical endeavor that you take into later years, I think that is the case. Like I feel like with art, which isn't necessarily, it has a physical aspect depending on what you're doing, but I definitely feel like I can, especially if I'm doing it a lot, that I can step into it and be sort of where I want to be fairly quickly. Not if it's been after a break and then I need lots of warm up. But anything athletic or singing is athletic.
Yeah,
right?
Literally muscular and so on.
You have to. You can get to where you need to be,
but you need
to some
give
extent.
It the time.
Yeah, but you need. Yeah, you're not going to become a sprinter like a 20-year-old or whatever, or a high note singer like a 20-year-old. But
well, and I think it's remarkable because she's a lifelong singer. So she has all, decades of working out her vocal muscles and so on, and technique. And she was feeling that. So me coming in my 50s, latter part of my 50s, and doing a whole 11 months of training. Yeah, so I didn't quite have my high note. I didn't have my high notes where I wanted them to be yesterday, and my low notes weren't quite as good as they could. Weren't as good as they can be sometimes. So anyway, it's a great song, Yellow. So I highly recommend it. I think it's the one that made Coldplay famous. It's a beautiful love song and quite certainly unusual.
The first song I remember from them.
Yeah, me too.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it was.
Has a lovely sort of slow motion, black and white video that's very spare and just focused on Chris, the lead singer, walking on a gray, windy, rainy, stony beach by the ocean in England, feeling very English. Yeah.
We've got people working in response to Matisse and Chagall and
Akua Holmes.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not sure.
Are there any other?
If any, well, some people are doing other things, right?
Right, yeah. That's fair enough.
And Cherie responded to you and to Joseph Cornell. You blotted that from your mind because it was you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blotted what?
Can you pause and go into the chat and scroll back to, there's a comment from someone named LeBlanc Rubio, and just delete their comment? Because I'm not on your account. I can't do it. I can only block them.
Done.
Thank you.
We're reaching the big time when we're attracting people who aren't.
Who are just spammers.
Looking to spam us,
yeah.
Exactly. The very small, big time.
When we get on to the live stream software, then of course I will be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Looking forward to.
But a lot's been going on. My mother just got out of hospital on the weekend.
Yet again, yeah.
And so she's just got, unfortunately, some health stuff that's come up, and that just, along with the other person we are responsible for, who we still have lots to do for her. It's just been a lot.
It has been a lot.
So. Cherie writes, well, you said to do someone you admire. Nice, Cherie. I love it. You're making him blush.
Just as well that I'm off camera right
now. Ruth writes, that's a beautiful song, but I think it would be challenging to sing. Yeah, it is. It's funny, I expected it, of the two songs I sang, I expected it to be the harder challenge than the other one, which I sing mostly in my lower register. But somehow it ended up being the reverse on performance day. I mean, that's the thing with performance, though. It's
there's no
every time is unique,
Yeah.
and there's no predicting it. So, yeah, I love singing it, and it is a bit of a challenge, but it's
but that's why you're doing it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I've been working hard on my upper register, so singing higher notes, which for me is probably lower. My high notes are probably lower than some of your high notes because of my voice, but my stepfather came to the concert, and he remarked on how I had inherited my grandmother's low resonant voice. Ruth says it's never ending with aging parents. That's right. And, you know, my dad passed last year. My mom, thankfully, is still with us as she's younger too. So, but she's definitely got her issues, but it's a slightly extended family too because of my godmother. Who is in long-term care now, but still needs lots of things. I'm sure a lot of you have gone through some version of that. Most, if not all of you. With parents or other elders. Just seems to be a stage of life. But boy, I wish it wouldn't all happen at once.
Amen.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Jane says, I am the aging parent. Well, now you are, Jane, maybe.
Yeah, but it
but
does...
you probably went through it too, right?
Yes, exactly.
And anyway, I hope you're aging as well as you seem to be, because boy, you seem to be aging really, really well. Yes. You're a model for us all.
Amen.
Yeah.
Still cranking out the creativity like crazy. And,
oh yeah.
And seemingly quite energetic, at least to my eye.
To our exhausted eyes.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Ruth says her dad passed away 2 years ago with a very bright brain still, but sadly cancer took him. Her mom is at end stage dementia. Oh boy. And in long-term care, no quality of life at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
We're not looking forward to that stage, I must say. Yeah, things are changing, so it's coming sooner or later, but she says, and both my in-laws passed within the past 3 years. Yes, it does all happen at once, but we were fortunate to have them as long as we did, is what I try to remember. Yeah. It's true. My dad was really gunning to reach 90, which he didn't manage to do, but he came closer than anyone expected him to because of his health. Jane says, fortunately, my folks went suddenly. Shocking, but left me with no aging parent experience. Aha. Yes. So just a different experience. That shock must have been quite something.
Yeah. I mean, there's no good way, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're losing them one way or another. One way is more exhausting on a day-to-day basis. I think just I mean, grief is heavy and exhausting, but the constant surprises and crises and needs thing is very wearing.
I went to glue down a strip.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, I want this nice text. And then I glued the text side. So I thought, okay, going to have to be the other side. So,
oh my God.
But it's actually working out serendipitously. So,
oh, good.
Yeah.
You've got a different one for
Yeah,
text.
yeah, exactly.
There, that's good.
I think
And Ruth, I just want to mention that if you don't want what you've shared about your family memorialized in text there, you can remove your comments. Even though we've said it, I've shared it verbally, you may feel it different. It's different than having it in the chat. So entirely up to you. I just want to let anyone know that if you share something that you feel is slightly,
you have second thoughts about, exactly.
Feel free to
you can always delete your comment if
as long as we're still live, it's deletable.
Right. Yes. Once we're done, it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to do a typical Kal, and that is I've got to a certain point with this one, and I definitely want to do more on it, but I also think it's time to start the next one so that I don't have like all my neuroses and anxieties piled into one.
Not that ever happens.
Not that ever happens. I'm just liking this one piece with a little more color in it. But that's part of the reason why I need to start another one. So put that aside.
Excuse me. Oh, coughing today. Just a chronic cough, so please don't worry. Now, I'm going to look up. There is right now at the Redhead Gallery in downtown Toronto,
right, yes, you wanted to.
An extraordinary collage show by Tanya Doricio, who's an amazing artist. Proud to call my colleague at the Redhead Gallery. She and I actually showed together at the Living Arts Center's art gallery, the name of which escapes me, but upstairs on the second floor, in a 3-person show that we're curated together. And she does some remarkable stuff, but this collage show, this is not, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to have some water. This is collage as you've probably never seen it.
Yeah.
It's kind of collage meets Yayoi Kusama meets David Altmed, if you're familiar with those two artists. There are big mirror installations slathered in collage, and they wrap around corners, and they're really complex and rich, and there are reflections of reflections of reflections, but with these layers of collage as well. So you end up with kind of a spatial experience of collage.
One of the we had to drop something off at the gallery when she was installing, and so one of the collages is on mirrors that are in the corner of a room. So they're on 2 right-angle walls, and the mirrors are maybe 4 feet by 2 feet, and then there's collage over top of them, but it's not opaque. You can see through, and then they reflect each other in this really like hall of mirrors kind of way.
Yeah, so that's
stunning.
why Yayoi Kusama, who did a lot of infinity room type things, right? So someone needs to fund Tanya to do her own infinity room, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in fact, I'll read this little thing here. The show's called Roaming. What started as a paper collage project in 2015 has now developed into an immersive experience of recycled magazine cutouts, found objects, and miniature pieces that have been secured onto repurposed mirror panels. The ensemble of mediums comes together to form unique reflective biomes, because there's a lot of vegetation as well as household furniture. Sort of uniquely Tanya. That place viewers directly inside of the art, which are a result of Doricio's time at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. Cascaded along the walls and the floor of the gallery, roaming has become a series of mixed media mirror installations that speak to consumer culture and introspection. I think very nice summation of it, because yes, a lot of the drapes onto the floor. She actually was having installed the mirrors, was weaving, hand weaving pieces to elements together for the installation on the mirrors, and it's quite something. So yeah, really encourage you to go. It's on through March 12th. March 12th will be a Saturday. And it's the gallery's open Wednesday to Saturday, noon till 5. So just because this is not, I mean, it's always good to know about a good collage show, but these are kind of extraordinary collages in a lot of ways. So, and 401 Richmond Street West, if you're not familiar with it, is at Spadina and Richmond, just east off Spadina. It's a big old refurbished factory that's a creative hub full of galleries and artist studios and creative businesses.
It's a great
and nonprofits.
Place to see a lot of.
Well, we've done gallery walk and talks there.
Exactly.
More than once.
Just within the building, yeah, because there's so much there.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, that's how I first was repeated gallery walk and talks there that got me interested in applying to become a member at Redhead Gallery. So.
Right. Some of the people who you're now you are gallery mates with, if that's
colleagues
were people you toured
like Elaine.
Yeah.
She had all these
Elaine
pink
Whitaker.
bacteria. Yes, Elaine Whitaker, pink bacteria growing in petri dishes, and it's the same stuff that causes flamingos to go the color they go. And it was a fascinating installation, and she spoke to everybody, answering all of our questions, and it was just amazing. It was the highlight of that walk, I remember. And now she's a dear friend, so.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So that's a big piece. That's a bold statement right there.
It's a base bold statement.
Yeah. I like the gentle irregularities of how you've cut it out.
Yes, that is all intentional.
Yeah.
These are one of the many things I have in my drawer, my color drawers that you'll see me refer to, are painted pages from sketchbooks, because repeatedly in my collage classes, I've had students, and I play along at the same time, pick a pair of complementary colors or even a single color and paint variations on that color on pages in their sketchbook that they can then tear and cut from to create collages that have painted elements. Or, in this case, it's a piece that's got all kinds of like streaks in it. This one's much more even, but it has nice little irregularities. This is one that has much more painterly action. There's something great about either tearing or cutting out of something that was obviously painted, but now has like crisp edges.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're in there, and I go rifling through, and it allows me to sort of, without getting my hands messy, I can work with painted elements. I love it.
How different you are from me, my dear.
It's true. I mean, I don't mind painting, and I do get messy, but I also do
prefer not to get messy.
I like clean practices.
Yeah.
I'm guilty as charged.
That's right.
So
you watercolorist, you.
Yes.
We joke a lot about the fact that he started in watercolor, and I actually started in oils, but was primarily an acrylics painter. A messy acrylics painter. In fact, when we were first together, I showed Kal some of my, so this is going back a long time.
Very long time.
I showed Kal some of my oil paintings,
And I was very polite.
which were either non-objective or there were some portraits. Some were abstracted, some were not. And I could tell that he was polite. So I pressed him on it because that's my nature.
That is your nature.
And he admitted that he found them messy. Yes, we all learn and grow, don't we, dear?
We all do.
Yeah. Which doesn't mean that I've become not messy. I hasten to add.
Doesn't mean that I've become messy.
You've deliberately dripped.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, that's a big reach given where you started, I think.
I thought this was going to be the next stage of this, but maybe not. My minimalist heart likes this one by itself. It's pathetic, I know.
I can just hear Peter Kalisnik saying, "Do another one."
Yeah, I know.
He said that to Cal so often. So Cal has this whole body of work that's really minimalist because Peter was a minimalist and Peter was Cal's mentor. And yeah. Maybe just for, oh, that's nice. But, you know, for argument, you could also just pull something else and see, compare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because sometimes a contrasting comparison will help you clarify what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. So much tasty stuff in the world.
Well, I think people must be working away like crazy out there.
Yeah. That's a good sign.
Philippa, I hope you're enjoying hanging out. Oh, you know, that piece, suddenly I'm starting to feel a little Kurt Schwitters.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. That addition of that to what you've already got there.
Well, for sure.
It's very interesting how that can happen so...
with such a simple...
With so few elements and so quickly.
Definitely. With a little introduction of text, I think is...
That's probably part of it.
That's the thing. So many great pieces in this disintegrating book cover. It is taking a little bit of it took a little bit of a gulp to do it because it's a long time old family reference book for looking up trees. So but I think in fact we came across it. It's not the family copy. It was a
might have been Rosemary's copy.
Yeah, it's a family friends copy. So yeah, feeling like it's not the thing. Maybe some of that's gonna find its way into this one.
Ruth writes, sometimes I spend more time cleaning up after a collage session than I actually spend on the collage. I am so messy with the bits and pieces when I get into it. Any tips there? She did invest in a set of colored drawers to keep her papers in like Cal has on a smaller scale. Well, that is my number one tip.
Yeah, for sure. Because that allows me to, because I'm the same. There's so much. I call it the collage bomb, and you can see already that I haven't been working for maybe an hour now, and this is actually fairly contained for me.
Yeah.
I've been working on some collages from my poetry book, and the studio looks like you couldn't find something if you wanted to. You can find, but the drawers allow you to like, okay, that's blue, I'll put it in the blue drawer. That's gray, I'll put it in the neutrals drawer. So that is useful.
I think also with the drawers, especially because you have smaller drawers, Ruth, you could, if you're working with a limited palette, that would be the key. So that you can pull out 3 drawers that are your main color sources and just have the drawers out and put to the top of the drawer pile the ones you want to work with. And then you can just have fewer actually on your table, fewer loose pieces on your table at a time. It's easy to just chuck scraps back into the colored drawer.
I definitely do some, when I start to lose my ability to find things, that's a pretty funny way of putting it, but I will definitely look and think, okay, this stuff I can do without, and I sort of sweep it away into my recycling bin so that I know I can sort of keep what I'm still thinking about. But when I'm in the middle of it and I'm focused on what I'm doing, the other stuff sort of goes away, except for the little bits like, oh, that bit I could use. And
but some of the mess is actually beneficial for your mental creative process because it makes you kind of riffling through it or by chance seeing something.
Yeah, for sure.
That is all a valuable part of creative process. So
yeah.
So I just think forgive yourself.
Yeah, and don't try and clean up too much in the middle of things.
Yeah.
Because cleaning up is a very different mindset than creating.
Yeah, it's not a generative mindset.
No,
it's
kind of
an
like
editing mindset.
Yeah, sort of a rationalizing. So I tend to like do my collages, and I will sometimes leave the mess if I'm not sure that the collage is done yet.
She may not have that option.
No,
because she has grandchildren.
Yeah. And sometimes I will organize it up into a pile or any other way to sort of contain it. Like I'm not done this collage, and I still want to have a bunch of these pieces that have been cut because they're of some of the materials that I want to use. So I have a pile in my in my studio of unfinished collages and the sort of relevant pieces to them. And
she could get a container like this for her loose
something
pieces.
Like this is great.
It's on the go. And also
this one's well worn, but you can see it's
Rubbermaid.
And then it can be like put away again and then got out again.
Or a scrapbook case. I mean, God, they only cost $5.
These are awesome, actually. So this is 12 inches or so.
Yeah, it fits 12 by 12 paper.
Inches. Yeah, it fits the. I have an example, but these are. This is a Nina, like a nicer paper, but this is 12 by 12 paper, and it fits within that quite nicely.
Yeah.
And so, that's great for organizing things too. Kim's got a bunch of bubble wrap in this one.
Yeah, I've got a lot of gel plate printing stuff in there.
Printing, but you have like boxes for different kinds of pursuits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some that get repurposed for different kinds.
Every year or two they get reorganized into something. So that kind of thing can without tidying everything away into the drawers, if you have unfinished work, it can be kind of a project. You can actually stick your watercolor pad in it too and have it be your project container.
Also good if you're going to go somewhere to work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Back before COVID, we took a little, and I've done this a few times, a little trip to visit some friends. And I was trying to do a collage every day, like one little collage.
Yeah.
At least. And so I packed a very finite amount of supplies. I packed a knife and a pair of scissors and a couple of glue sticks, one of these 9 by 12 pads, and like 3 or 4 magazines of different kinds. And then I also would find things that like, we went to the gallery, so I grabbed some brochures, or I grabbed the free newspaper and so on. And so wherever
Yeah,
we
it's
were
fun.
staying, I had this like quick little setup, and I'd
Yeah.
say, after dinner, I'd say, I'll be back in an hour. I'm just going to go down and do my collage, or I'd do it in the morning before people were up or whatever. And it was awesome, right? Because
Yeah.
it was very contained.
It was a happy Cal on
Yeah.
that
Oh,
trip.
yeah. Because artists are happiest when they're making their work, right?
Yeah.
Generally.
I remember Harold Klunder saying that he doesn't like traveling because he likes to be in the studio every day.
Right.
So he got a studio. His son moved to Germany and was living and working in Germany. And so Harold got a studio in Germany so that he could go be with his son, visit him, spend a good visit with him, not a short one, and but go into the studio every day. And he has the privilege of being a commercially successful artist, so that was an option for him. But I think it speaks to something that's true for most of us. Okay, I need to catch us up on the fact that Ricky Sanders is here.
Hey, Ricky. Hey, welcome aboard.
She says, sorry to be so late joining. I just learned about my now favorite collagist. She refers to her work as assemblage. Her name is Betty Saar. She's an African-American visual storyteller. That's great. That's the second African-American collage artist that's been brought up.
Learned about today. That's awesome.
So Ricky, at the beginning of today, Val mentioned she was working with Ekua Holmes. Holmes as in Sherlock Holmes, and Ekua EKUA. I forgot how to name the letters of the alphabet. Things are looking bad here. Yeah, if you don't hear from Cal next week, check in with him. Anyway, so I can't wait to check her out, Ricky, because that's someone we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So fantastic. I'm going to copy her and I'll open a new tab with her. Oh, there's a work titled The Liberation of Aunt Jemima. I love her already. Okay. She's born in 1926, so way older than Ekua, who's a young 66 years old. Betty is 95 years old. Unreal. Exciting. It looks like she does shadow box type stuff.
Right, yeah.
Ricky, Cherie was doing, one of the artists Cherie was working with was Joseph Cornell, whom you may or may not know about, American, famous for his shadow boxes.
Shadow boxes, among
long
other
deceased now. But Ruth adds, yeah, that sounds like a plan, but I'm not that disciplined, LOL. And Ruth says, yeah, I can leave my mess. I just shut the door. That's great that you can just shut the door. That's fantastic. So you don't have to worry about containing it so much. Just, I think one of the things women especially are culturally kind of trained to think of their homes in a particular way or a range of ways that doesn't include us making big messes
and leaving them
for our own fulfillment's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that becomes a very complicated issue in terms of our performance in the role of women or whatever, and home. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing there is to just embrace it and actually, if you can, transform it into oh no, I've left a big mess, into wow, look at that fabulous material I have to come back to get all inspired by. You were talking about inspiration, feeling a lack of inspiration earlier. Well, that mess is your source of inspiration. So celebrate it for that reason. Anne Arnett is here saying, hi, so grateful to be with you today. We're so glad you're here, Anne.
Yay. Welcome.
Yes. And Anne, are you, have you brought something to work on, or are you responding to the prompt, or are you doing something completely different? Or like Philippa, are you just hanging out? And
Yeah, all good.
It's all fine.
Exactly. We're just
but
curious.
we'd love to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruth, the scrapbook case is a great thing for when you're out on the boat. And Ricky says, thanks for that. I just checked her out and I like it. Maybe she'll be my favorite now. Betty Sarr is 95 years. Yeah, amazing. Amazing. I want to die with my boots on, as they say, you know, and hopefully be a good, ripe old age when I do. I did want to say, when we were talking about being messy or not as artists in our process, wood burning is one case where I'm distinctly not messy.
Yeah, very not.
Because I don't want to melt through the wires and I don't want to burn myself and have to go to hospital. And
all noble goals, you have to admit.
Yeah. So. Rebecca says, I love that I now have a space I can leave a mess. Oh, yes. It makes such a difference. However, I'm currently sharing studio space with my turtle who wants to lay eggs. Oh my God, Rebecca, I've never read a more Rebecca-like
yeah, that's right.
statement than that.
Yeah.
That is so perfect. So I need to keep the floor clear, smile. Yes, you do, because Mama Turtle has needs. Soon to be Mama Turtle, anyway. Wow. I love that you have a turtle that wants to lay eggs. We once had we used to love driving, I don't know, in the before times. We used to love driving on back roads. Of course, we could drive on back roads now, but
do we ever leave the house?
We don't leave the house. So, you know. Anyway, I remember one time on back roads, we just happened upon a turtle who was laying her eggs in a sandy bit of path or something. And
was it by the side of the road, wasn't it? I thought
it was a very quiet road.
Right, yeah.
Or she wouldn't have been. And it was amazing to watch. Like, it just felt like you were watching the miracle of life there. Because you were.
Yeah.
David Attenborough's voice wasn't voiceovering at all. And we had to make do with ourselves. I guess we must have been located near a pond or something for the...
I seem to recall it was definitely like a very, very secondary road up in Haliburton.
Yeah, tertiary, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was barely paved.
Or not even paved, or like a gravel road that was for a few cottages or exploring.
Very, very quiet.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very quiet. So.
Speaking of quiet roads, remember when we lived in the beaches and there was that little in-between road, very short, and the cats used to lie in the middle of the road
because it was so quiet.
Because the asphalt, of course, absorbs the sunlight, gets nice and warm. They love that. And there was so little traffic. They had absolutely zero concern about lying in the road, which was, I thought that's all we needed to know about how great that spot was. It was great living there. Too bad I was getting sick then.
It was a great place to live.
Rebecca says, every spring and fall. Currently, she is pacing and walking over my feet. It's been over a week now. Hopefully she does it soon. No dad, so no babies. Ah, right. So the eggs will be infertile, but she needs to lay them, right? So, I mean, doesn't she want to dig in like some sand or something to bury the
Yeah, I would have
eggs?
thought.
Or you could give her all your collage bits and she could bury them in collage bits.
Probably isn't substantial enough. They probably want something
Maybe.
more, but I don't. What do I know? I'm not a turtle.
Ricky asks, will Cal share some of his work on the children's book with us? I think the poetry book is what she must be referring to.
So I am
Cal has been posting. I don't know if you're on Instagram at all, Ricky. He has posted a few things, right?
Yeah, and I need
Small
to post
numbers.
more, so I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the not the author, because the author is deceased, but her husband who's shepherding the project. I don't think he wants them all to be published, because of course there's going to be a book, but I'm definitely sharing some of them.
Yeah.
As a way of promoting it, and so yes, absolutely. And I haven't posted one in a while, so I will definitely post some more.
Cal's just finishing up he just finished the last collage for it, and now he has to finish up the design on the book, right?
If only it were that far
Oh,
along.
really?
Yeah. No, I
thought that was the final collage.
I still have. Still one entire chapter, quite a long one to go entirely. And so I'm now finished like the penultimate chapters, all the collages for it. So now I'm laying out that chapter, and then I have
the longer chapter.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and longer chapters, more collages. So yeah, but it is the last.
Boy, I'm gonna have to stand behind him with my wood burning whip and make sure he's getting on that, because that book needs to be done.
It has been much too long.
Yeah, but a lot. It's been during a very trying year.
Yeah, and yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to create a dark ground and then sort of eat into it from the edges using almost white pieces, or off-white pieces. I don't even know why I thought that would be interesting, but that's what I'm giving it a whirl.
That's one way to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Rebecca writes, where I grew up, we have to pull over regularly spring and fall to help mama turtles across the road. Yes. Her turtle has a 60-gallon tank full of sand and dirt, but prefers pacing and trying to dig holes in the hardwood instead. Oh my God.
There's probably I suspect anyway, who knows, I'm no turtle expert, but like a built-in expert
instinct,
that's the word I'm looking for, to go away from home, to find new pastures for the
definitely down on the ground.
So I can imagine that would be the case, and whether it is or not.
And Ricky, no apologies necessary. That you remembered Cal is working on a book is a compliment.
Yeah. Especially given how long it's been going on.
No kidding, eh? Anne, who just joined us, says she's working on collage cards. Excellent.
When you say collage cards, then do you mean cards that you will send people, or postcards? Well, postcard falls under that, but like it could be a folding card or a single panel card.
It sounds like a folding card.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and I'm sure you're right. I'm sure she'll also let us know.
Rebecca says they are notoriously fussy about where they will nest.
Right, right.
I bet. Well, I think that's probably a mama turtle's prerogative, isn't it? She's got a lot of egg laying to do. I can't believe how many eggs they produce. I mean, I suppose it varies from species to species, but this might be a good time for me to mention that I'm offering another gel plate monoprint workshop at Quest Art in Midland on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you live.
Yep, Midland. You don't even need to know where Midland is.
Yeah. But for those of you who are from further away, it is in Ontario. How long would it take us to drive there?
An hour and a half, maybe.
An hour and a half to 2 hours,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Anne says they're more like postcards. So there you go, dear.
Yep.
You were right. It's called Gel Plate Monoprints Creative Layering Using Everyday Objects with Kim Lee Ko. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And these workshops always sell out. So I just wanted to mention it to you because the registration information is live now on their website. So I'll be posting that in the my gel plate print group. I can't even remember what it's called now on Facebook. I feel pathetic, actually, not being able to remember. Honestly. Gel Plate Monoprints with Kim Lee Ko is maybe the name of the group.
Maybe.
Oh, great, Val. Thanks for sharing that. If anyone is interested, Jelly Arts is having a March challenge for gel prints. Fantastic. And Rebecca says Quest Art emailed us about it a day or two, I think. So ago, I think. So excellent. So anybody who's taken with them before, I know I've taught a gel plate workshop there twice before, and a bunch of my people and a bunch of their people took it. So it was kind of nice mix of familiar faces and new faces for me and for them. It's one of my favorite things to do with the botanicals that we did the last time was one of my favorite things to do, but everyday objects is another of my favorites. So it was fun doing a little research day in the studio, researching and developing. They're really nice people to work with. So I always enjoy teaching for them. Cherie writes, my brother and I were in Puerto Vallarta when these beautiful giant tortoises came up on the beach to lay their eggs. Wow. Oh. Conservationists closed the beach and posted security to ensure their safety. Yes, I'm sure that was extremely necessary. Given what I've seen people doing in Algonquin Park, when there's a giant moose and people are stopping their cars really nearby and then getting up and walking closer to them, huge wild animals, upsetting the wild animals like crazy, and they're wild. Yeah. Your safety is not a concern of theirs. But boy, you're really upsetting them. So that's awfully considerate, yeah, some people you just want to slap sometimes, eh? Anyway, what a magnificent thing for you to be there during. Puerto Vallarta isn't too far, I think, from where the only place I've been in Mexico, which was Manzanillo. I've always been meaning to go back there. I was there over 30 years ago, but just haven't made it. We talked about moving there more than once as a way to lower living costs, right, dear?
Mm-hmm.
Lower living costs and be somewhere warmer.
Win-win.
Yeah. There's a good question for you, Rebecca. Ricky asks, what will happen to the eggs with no dad? No dad, therefore infertile eggs, therefore no baby turtles in them. It sounds like compost material to me, but I could be wrong.
No, it's a cooking opportunity, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Well, it might be. I don't know.
I don't know. What do I know about turtles' eggs? Rebecca will fill us in.
Stay tuned.
I don't know that turtle eggs are as tasty as turtles are reported to be.
That's probably just as well then.
Yeah. Yes, Rebecca says they'll go in the compost. They're soft and so gross.
Right. Okay. Well, then, yeah. Best.
That was my recollection, was that they were soft. I didn't know about the gross bit, but I knew about the soft. But yeah, big mass of them, I bet, is kind of weird in a way. Oh, look at that. It's 3:26, my dear.
That is, it happens so fast.
It does.
I feel like today I haven't even really got going, but that's just the way it is sometimes.
Every day is different. Every
Yep.
collage is different.
Yep.
So you're not doing collage vignettes here, right? Were some of you in the collage vignettes course that Cal ran?
Definitely a few of them. I think
Was that your own
Jane,
course?
Yeah, Jane and Rebecca, and
Right.
probably one or two others that I.
Yeah. He's managed in a 9x12. He's definitely got to start on an opus here rather than a vignette.
Well, Kurt Schwitter's was not a minimalist. Let's put
No,
it that
he
way.
wasn't.
And
some of his collages are so complex.
Yes. And so I am trying to, in fact, I think you've put your finger on something
Yeah.
that I didn't quite realize.
Yeah.
He also has a really good design sense. Sometimes it's like, oh man, that's not designed at all, Kurt, or it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're really exquisitely designed. And so I think something that I'm trying to do is have his complexity, but have a degree of simplicity as well. So for instance, this piece that I'm working on right here, I laid down a ground of a bunch of different darks. And now I'm playing a game of sort of eating into the edges with lights that aren't white, but that are light to create sort of an interesting silhouette. And that's something that he would do a lot, I noticed. It's something I appreciate about his work is like, there are interesting shapes.
Yeah.
Like this one, it's not so much by value, but this shape that if you sort of go around this perimeter of little staircasey,
right,
and
yes.
I really love that relationship between like the piece at the background and then it's not just rectangular stuff. It's very interesting.
And he has silhouettes within that outer shape.
Yes,
because
exactly.
He has the black shape and he has the tan shape.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I'm playing with this one. And then this one is when my minimalist is one so far. It's like, that's enough, Cal. It isn't enough, not even for me, but I had to put it aside.
But it means you have to be feel very clear about what you want
right,
to do.
Exactly. And I think that was it. I started laying stuff on and it felt wrong.
Yeah.
That's not to say I won't put more into it. I will, but I sort of stalled which means I think I need to think about it a little more. And
Yeah,
in fact, I'm looking at
exactly.
this sort of
Oh, that color.
like, isn't that's
Oh my God,
that's a
that
pretty
color.
great color in that context. So that's we were talking about happenstance.
Yeah, rip it.
It was just
rip
sitting
the
there.
edges.
Yeah. It was just sitting there, and I just saw it and connected it.
Yeah.
So that even like, I'm just going to put that there as a reminder. I'll probably I won't use Post-it note. I'll find something that is a little more interesting than that, but that will give me a little reminder.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was what I was waiting for. I don't know.
That's a magical color.
And then this one is progressing.
It is.
But I'm not sure just where to yet.
What the next step is.
Yeah, I think I might.
Oh, I like that.
I might just put that one in.
I was
just thinking that. So
nice.
I'm going to put that there. So that's going to be
very nice.
The next step for that one. And that's that, anyone who's taken my classes or come to this jam has heard me preach over and over again, like, work on more than one at a time. And it's only because it works for me.
Yeah. And I've always said that to painters, mixed media artists, everything. Rebecca adds, the turtle eggs are a couple of inches long and smell terrible.
Oof.
Well, lucky you that your studio is going to be imbued with that aroma.
Yes.
I hope you have a good window edge and good air purifier.
Air purifier will be helpful.
Yeah. Cherie has a question for you.
Yeah.
She wants to know if Kurt Schwitters did decollage at all.
I kind of think it'd be hard for him not to, at least to some extent, because, for instance, I mean, it's possible that he did, but I'm looking at this piece and thinking that looks like several pieces glued together and then torn back at once and torn to different levels. But he may have torn them all, and then applied them. But just given the layered nature of his work,
I could imagine him tearing them off from one piece
and putting them on another.
Putting them on a different artwork.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
Yeah. Or tearing
but
off.
But sort of pure decollage, maybe not.
Yeah, in terms of layering stuff up to then tear back through in a capital D decollage way, maybe not. But there's definitely aspects that overlap. For sure.
Just to get away from Kim being hopeless with providing useful information, that gel plate workshop is on June 14th from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. It does have a date. And the website is questart.ca. And you look for the create menu item to find the workshop. I'll just put that in the questart.ca under the create menu item. Yes, I have to talk to myself when I type, just to make sure that I'm actually typing what I mean to.
Type what you mean.
Which is harder than it should be. There we go. Philippa she had a good rest and she's going for a walk now. Excellent. And she says, thanks so much,
Thanks
both of you.
Thanks so much for joining us,
Thank you, Philippa. Yeah. So glad you could join us. And Ricky asks, what is the name of that book you're flipping through?
Yes. So
Show the cover. That's helpful. That's in the thumbnail for this video.
Yes. So it's called Kurt Schwitters' Color and Collage. And I bought it for like $65 Canadian, and I have been like 10 years ago, at least, probably longer. And I've been told since that it's very expensive because I guess the print run finished and people said it was like $400. And so, 2010 was when it was published. But you might be able to find a reasonably priced one on ABEbooks, ABEbooks.com. But it's a great book.
Turn it over for the quote. That's a great quote on the back cover.
There are no uncolored objects. That is a great quote.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great book. But it might be shockingly expensive, and with any luck, maybe not.
Yeah, hopefully used. You can get it
Yeah.
for a decent price. Can I interrupt one of your near white pieces a little bit, eh?
Yeah, this one's
That's
kind
good.
this. I've got things sort of divided into light and dark, and this one, if I can get it off
Is
my glue sheet,
Towards mid.
is mid. So it's kind of a brackish zone, and I kind of thought that was interesting. So it could unite with the darks, and it could unite with the lights, and I thought that would be kind of interesting. So you could sort of say, well, this is the perimeter.
Yeah.
Or you could say that that's the perimeter.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's nice to have things that do that.
Mm-hmm. So I might do a little more of that now that I've figured out.
Well, it's 3:35.
I guess then it's time to wrap it up, guys. Sad to say.
Yeah,
So
I know.
These are my outfitting. Yeah, they are actually. It's even not bad to fit.
Yeah, look at that.
Never mind the detritus everywhere else, guys.
Well, now that you've got 3 in a row, the detritus has been reduced a lot.
Yes, exactly.
Visually.
But you can see one that's sort of more vertical oriented, one that's sort of perimeter oriented, and one that's super minimal with maybe a pink something else about to happen in future. So
exciting.
Yeah, but it definitely feels like I'm doing them, but it also feels like I'm channeling a bit of something that isn't me and Kurt, even though it, no Kurt aficionado would say, oh, that's a Schwitter's piece, but they might see a bit of that influence. So that's kind of fun. So I look forward. I should put the camera down, sign off.
It's really a way of, this was the prompt, but it's a prompt that guides you to work that you then find prompts within. Right? Because your response to another artist's work is essentially finding the things that you're going to pick up on. So those are your prompts.
Yeah, because if everyone, I wouldn't do this, but if everyone was assigned to work with Kurt Schwitters as a response, all of our pieces would be different regardless, because we would all find different things in his work
and express it differently.
So because I might be drawn to shape, and you might be drawn to color, and you might be drawn to texture, and you might be drawn to composition, et cetera, and then we all have different experiences as well. And that's right there. That's what makes art great, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And remember to join us next Monday on Kim Lee Ko's channel for Virtual Studio Party, where our roles will be reversed. Her lovely mug will be in front of the camera, and I'll be answering your questions and comments and passing them along to her.
And because of what I'm in the midst of, I think I will doing some either wood burning or image transferring or both.
Right. Stuff relating to your upcoming show, right?
Everything is about the upcoming show now.
So, and our next virtual collage jam will be the 14th, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
So thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you and having you here, energizing the whole event, creating community.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing your responses and what you're responding to on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on Kim's virtual studio party.